Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. As the seasons change and the sandbox changes with it, there's a lot of exotics that become good that maybe you don't know about. Maybe they kind of fly under the radar. Maybe it's a few weeks, a few months into the season before people start to realize that they're good because they've never been good before, and why would they be good now, right? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. What I believe to be this season's 5 most underrated exotic weapons. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying that these aren't going to be DPS monsters. This isn't going to be something that replaces Izanagi's Burden in your kinetic slot or in your exotic slot for that matter, but these are weapons that are viable in the in-game and are very fun to use, at least in my opinion. A lot of times in Destiny, we forget about the fun factor and we just go for that optimal DPS, ha ha ha. So these are some fun options that you should definitely try and you will definitely enjoy, and you won't be handicapping your team in doing so. Let's go ahead and start the list. And I will be starting this list with what I believe to be the single most underrated exotic this season in the game right now, and that exotic is Xenophage. Now, you acquire Xenophage by completing some tasks for Eris Morn, which eventually leads you to kill a special boss in the Pit of Heresy dungeon. Once that boss is killed, you go collect your Xenophage. Now, when Xenophage first came out back in October in Shadowkeep, it was below meh. Like, it was nothing, pretty much. It was a gun that sounded cool and that you were never going to use, and that was basically it. However, it recently got a 50% damage buff to all PvE enemies, and it is now a new gun. If you have not tried it recently, I would absolutely recommend that you do so, because this thing just chews through majors, man. It 4-shots the Angelics in the Garden of Salvation raid, and it 5-shots in most cases the champions in the Ordeal Nightfalls. This thing chews up majors. It is not ideal for bosses, but it is also not bad for bosses. Because of its relatively slow rate of fire, it's not going to be a DPS monster, but like I said, it's still a heavy weapon, it's still a power weapon, it's still going to do a lot of damage, and it's still good. So definitely try out Xenophage if you have not been trying it this season. Next up on my list, I have an exotic bow that is currently bugged. Now, this one is good this season because it is actually broken. It is not working the way it is supposed to, and it will eventually be patched, but for the time being, take advantage of it while you can. I'm talking, of course, about Wishender. Now, like I said, Wishender is actually bugged. It is actually broken right now. Basically, what Wishender is doing is its exit damage is counting for about 4 times what it should be counting for. So what you essentially have is a arrow that is doing like 5 times damage than it's supposed to. But yeah, Wishender is... it's nuts right now. It really and truly is. Against majors, even against bosses, it's not terrible for DPS. It's definitely the best energy or the best kinetic for ad clear right now because it one-shots virtually everything. And as I said, it is bugged, meaning it will be patched. Bungie will fix this. There is no way that they let Wishender continue to be like it is right now. They will fix it, so take advantage of it while you can. Get out there and play around with Wishender. So next up on my list, I wanted to include something for the PvP players out there, but this weapon is also pretty decent in PvE for general ad clear. It's not going to be a DPS monster, it's not going to be a boss machine, it's going to be for ad clear, it's going to be something that you use for fun. But yeah, Graviton Lance. Graviton Lance is actually in a pretty decent place right now all around compared to what it's been in the past. It's viable in PvE for ad clear, it is pretty decent in Crucible right now. I have a couple of friends that this is all they've been using, and they've been absolutely shredding in Iron Banner with it. So definitely check out the Graviton Lance. Next up, I have one of my favorite Destiny exotics of all time. This is a throwback to Destiny 1, and it is, like I said, one of my favorite exotics of all time. Now, this weapon never fell off the radar. This weapon has secretly always been good every season, but there's always been something that was just a little bit better, or maybe it was a lot bit better, so this weapon got swept under the rug. I'm talking about you, Sleeper Simulant. Sleeper still hits like a truck, man. Sleeper is still good for boss damage. It is still good for majors. When you have the catalyst for Sleeper Simulant, and you have that catalyst fully upgraded, it fires about 25% faster than it does without said catalyst, and it makes a huge difference. In addition to that, you also get some bonus reserves, and it's great. It's just all around great. It makes it a super good weapon, a super fun weapon. Bungie did nerf the reflection damage, which is a bummer because that's one thing that made Sleeper Simulate unique compared to other linear fusion rifles. But if you still use this as a precision weapon and aim directly at your target, it still takes off chunks of damage, and that's why it's on this list, because it's still really good and still very viable. I would definitely recommend trying out Sleeper. And for our final weapon on this list, it's going to be one that has just kind of taken a backseat to Izanagi's Burden, which is something that happens to a lot of exotics, in the past couple of seasons. Izanagi's has just kind of reigned king. But this exotic is good. This exotic has pretty much been good since it came out, and I don't see a lot of people using it. I'm talking, of course, about Anarchy. Now, Anarchy is great because it can do damage while you're using a different weapon, and that's where you get some big DPS numbers. So for example, if you tag a boss with 2 shots of Anarchy and then switch to a Tranquility sniper rifle that has something like firing line or something like that, then you are doing damage that's on par with Izanagi's Burden. And I mean, it's fun, it's different. That's the main thing here. It's a different loadout. I'm so tired of Izanagi's, Wendigo, and Recluse that I have been trying all these different loadouts in the end game and having a lot of fun doing it. But Anarchy it's fun. It's truly fun. It reminds me of those old TV infomercials where the guy's like trying to sell the little roaster and he's like, set it and forget it. That's Anarchy in a nutshell. And that is going to do it for this one, guys. Drop a comment in the box below and let me know which weapons you feel like are underrated this season. These are my 5 picks. These are 5 weapons that I've been using and enjoying. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.